Hello, and welcome to Sun Falls National Park. My name is Dr. Adam Gray, Head of Expeditions and current Park Overseer, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to our slice of paradise amid the Rocky Mountains. By now you've no doubt endured all manner of physical, mental, and spiritual trials to determine your aptitude as a potential ranger. Congratulations on being able to impress us enough to become one of us. Now, as intense and even scary as some of our objectives can be, I want to assure you that the stories you've heard about life here in Bastion are all true. The many inhabitants of our town live happier lives than they thought possible, surrounded by good people, incredible wilderness, and sights and experiences available nowhere else. Our paradise may take work to uphold, but it's work worth doing. The goal of this first video, Section 1, is to give you an overview of upcoming topics. In Section 2, we'll discuss the most significant figures in our operations here, as well as our individual contributions to the mission. This will include myself as Head of Expeditions, Dr. Alfred Line as Head of Manufacturing, Dr. Myra Tosis as Head of Research, and many more. I also currently oversee all operations of the park, but we're actively recruiting for a qualified director to take my place. Don't worry if some of these positions seem confusing. That's why we'll be discussing in greater detail later. In Section 3, we'll take a look at the town of Bastion and all the amenities which are sure to permanently plaster a smile on your face. We'll stop by Irene's Diner for a plate of honey cakes, then take a stroll through Candle Glass Galleria. With all the sources of inspiration, it won't be too long before you add your own contribution to our growing collection. In Section 4, we'll get into the woods which fill Salm Valley. There are many dangers of which you must be aware, as well as significant landmarks by which to continually navigate. We'll stop by Cornucopia Farms to chat with Farmer Derek, then tour the tamed apiary with the help of our beekeeper, Lewis Pollen. Seeing as Highway is the only way into the valley, we can assume you're already familiar with it. In Section 5, we'll start discussing the Backcountry, everything in Salm Valley which we don't control. We'll cover how the landscape will change, as well as leading theories and strategies to assist with navigation. We'll also cover the designated zones of the Backcountry. Even though they change on a daily basis, understanding them can save the lives of you and your team. In Section 6, we'll cover the tools of the trade you'll need to successfully navigate the Backcountry. We'll get hands-on with Isaiah's clay and explain its unique protective properties, and even witness the effects of tamed honey when facing a source of terror. In Section 7, we'll begin discussing the most significant aspect of our mission here, the immersed. For ease of understanding, the immersed have been grouped based on their historic period of origin, as well as their general intentions. Section 7 will include the immersed known as the Disciples of Nature, Chirophetics, the Crawling Colony, and Narrow-Eye Fungus. We'll cover their locations, their habits, and the few strategies we have for confronting them, but you'll soon see that the Disciples of Nature are best left alone. Section 8 will continue our discussion of the immersed with those known as the Ancient Masters. Here we will discuss Simeon, as well as the Parliament of Wolves. The Ancient Masters, though rarely encountered, represent the greatest threat to the town of Bastion. Our most effective defensive strategy is to pray they don't come down the mountain. Section 9 will conclude our discussion with the Hubris Marked, the immersed you'll be interacting with most frequently. Here you'll be introduced to Lucy Lightheels, as well as the Hanging Coward and his riddled army. With large territories and a penchant for bloodshed, the Hubris Marked are the most consistent threat to the town of Bastion. Tactical application of force is required to keep ourselves and the greater population safe. Section 10 will follow up with a more in-depth discussion of the Backcountry. We'll discuss places of interest, such as the Healing Springs and the Mistaway Firewatch Tower, as well as areas to avoid, such as Fragrant Gulch and Fort Jarius. With a greater understanding of the immersed, you'll come to appreciate the terrain they call home. Section 11 will cover protocols for body disposal by zone. While it is an unpleasant thought, we are confronted with the dangerous reality of our mission every day. Though we aim to respect our fallen friends and honor their wishes, there are certain precautions which must be taken to prevent further loss of life. We will focus mainly on Zone 7 and 8, with a lesser focus on Zone 4. Section 12 will cover a brief history of our predecessors, as well as the Whistling Eagle. Finally, Section 13 will impart some advice from our most experienced rangers, as well as a closing message and thank you. There's a great deal to understand about your time here, so let's not delay. Before we begin discussing the fine folks you'll be working with, there's some pieces of advice we wish to impart on you immediately. Remember these simple rules to keep yourself and your teammates safe. 1. Always carry a torch as a last resort. 2. A pleasant smell descends to hell. On behalf of everyone here in Sun Falls National Park, thank you for your courage, your curiosity, and your dedication. I look forward to working alongside you as we fulfill a legacy 12,000 years in the making.